SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. We are previewing Week 9 in college football here at SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak, and we are talking right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, who's covering 4 college football games with us this week. Thanks, Joe, for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, Penn State and Ohio State. Before we get into that, give a little plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. Brag a little how well you've done this year.
Well, I would spend minutes if I had to brag on everything we've done. We're hitting over 60% in the NFL this year. We're heading college football. Humongous weekend coming up for Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com, including one of our favorite angles that we discuss in another video here at SBRForum. So it's going to be a great weekend in college and the NFL.
Okay, sounds good. Penn State and Ohio State. Ohio State is a 14.5 or 15-point home favorite. Penn State is off of bye, and Ohio State getting wins, not quite blowouts, though. You know, they're not beating teams. They're beating teams by, 10 points, beating them soundly, but not quite getting this kind of a margin win. Penn State off a bye. Penn State, of course, though, doesn't quite have the personnel that they've had in years past. So the question is, can they hang within 2 touchdowns? I'm not exactly sure, but I trust whatever you have to say about this game. Who do you like here, Joe Duffy?
Well, you should trust what I have to say. No, we were definitely thinking along the same lines. A lot of the stuff that you mentioned. Penn State is a team that admittedly I've been somewhat wrong about. I thought that Penn State was going to be a big fade this year, and they're 3-3 ATS, so it's not like it's been a complete disaster. But Penn State, as we said last year, rode the emotions of all the horrible off-field stuff, but we were wondering if they could do that into this year. But what you said, the biggest argument against it being so obvious is, as you said, Penn State is off of a bye, which really helps a team that's lacking depth. But one thing Ohio State doesn't lack is depth, especially on the offensive line. A lot of the scouting reports and a lot of the trusted sources that I subscribe to really think Ohio State's offensive line is going to dominate the trenches, wear Penn State down. And I will say this, there's only about 5 or 6 people in the world whose opinion I truly respect. And if there is an angle that I've been talked into the previous few years, a Sharpie that I trade information with, he says he loves it when teams are battling for the national championship. They tend to really run up the score a lot more because they've got to make those statements once the BCS standings come out. And you know what? I poo-pooed that at first, but it has proven to be true since I started tracking this over the last several years. So Ohio State, they need to make a big statement win. They'll be playing on national television, high-profile game, so they do have some motivation to run up the score. And because of their depth, I do think they will be able to wear Penn State down and pull away late. You might think Penn State's a great play after 3 quarters, but after 4 quarters, Ohio State's going to cover.
Right. We do see a lot of games like that in college football where, a game is closer than expected most of the way, and then the class starts to really show. Same thing in horse racing. A lot of times the class shows in the 4th quarter, the fourth 25% of any race or competition. All right. Thanks so much, Joe Duffy, liking Ohio State minus 14.5. Thanks, Joe.